So this is a presentation of Nori, concealing the concealed identifier in 5G. We call it Nori because 3DPP is calling the protection mechanism that we analyze for SUCI. And we have two authors, John Preuß Mattsson, Ericsson, and Prajwol Kumar Nakarmi, Ericsson. I'm from Ericsson Research, and Prajwol is from Ericsson Network Business Unit. IMSI catches and false base station has been a problem in all previous releases. And the previous releases has used temporary identifiers, but sometimes the permanent IMSI is sent in clear text over the radio interface. An active attacker can also trick a mobile phone to send the permanent identifier over the air. To solve this, 5G introduced the subscription concealed identifier, or SUCI, to protect the permanent identifier called SUPI. 5G also introduced other identity protection mechanisms for 5G, such as strict refreshment of temporary identifiers, a decoupling of the permanent identifier from the paging mechanism, and protected redirection, so an active false base station cannot easily trick a mobile phone to switch from 5G down to less secure 4G or 3G or 2G. The permanent identifier is called SUPI. It consists of a type, a SUPI type, and a SUPI value. The most commonly used SUPI type is IMSI. It's the same as in previous generations of mobile networks. It consists of a country code, a mobile network code, and a MSIN, which identifies the subscriber. You can also use different SUPI types called a network-specific identifier, or NSI. This has a NI format, which is a network address identifier, and this typically looks like an email address, so it's a username and a realm. And while the IMSI has a fixed length, the NSI have a variable length, and this is important as we will come to later. 5G has standardized SUCI, which is a protection mechanism for SUPI, and it encrypts the username part of the SUPI or the MSIN with the home network's public key. The rest of the information, such as the SUPI type, the home network identifier, and other parameters are not encrypted. The scheme looks like this. It's an ECIES, elliptic curve integrated encryption system, which is well known. So 3DPP has standardized the null scheme, which is used, for example, in emergencies. Then there is profile A and profile B. They use two different curves, and otherwise they are the same. The most important thing here is the symmetric encryption part, which always use AES in counter mode. And this means that the resulting ciphertext have the same length as the plain text. And the plain text then might have variable length. This means that an attacker gets perfect information about the username length. A summary of our analysis. We think SUCI is essential for 5G privacy. It has excellent properties as long as you use it. The identifiers have fixed length. All the users belong to the same operator, and the keys are refreshed frequently. However, when variable length identifiers such as NSI is used, SUCI provides very poor anonymity, and therefore we think it should be augmented with a padding mechanism. Padding can be done in different ways. We suggest to do padding before the encryption, which would add a new step to the SUCI protection. So after you take the plain text, you add some padding, and then you encrypt the padded username. To analyze different padding methods, we need data. Our assumption is that NSI username will be based on real-world names. It's surprisingly hard to find distributions of real-world name in the literature. So part of our work has been to publish such information, and we have received gotten hold of name length information for the whole of Sweden, for Stockholm, as well as for a multinational company for USA, India, and China. And our analysis is that SUCI provides very poor anonymity for these distributions. In most cases, it only provides one anonymity, which means that there's at least one user whose name is unique, and that can be used then to identify and track the user. As can be shown here on the picture with the arrows, it's mostly users with very short names or very long names that have the frequencies of these are low, and therefore they can be distinguished, and the current padding provides poor anonymity. It should be noted that an attacker can also use additional information such as the network location and time to identify a user. We have tried quite a lot of all the well-known padding mechanisms that has previously been used for padding of network traffic. These pad the whole distributions and are not optimal, as we will show soon. We suggest a new padding method, which we call tail-aware block length padding, and it's based on that we have identified that the users that mostly need padding are those on the tails, both the left tail and the right tail. And in our work, we have not padded the middle at all because these users get quite good anonymity anyway. To compare different padding methods, we assign cost both to the attacker and the defender. The defender cost is bandwidth, or more precisely, the average increase in username size, calculated over the whole set. And for attacker cost, we use two different metrics. One is conditional entropy. This can be seen as the uncertainty about the original distribution when the padded distribution is known. And attacker cost 2, which is k-anonymity. K-anonymity means that each person cannot be distinguished from at least k-1 individuals. It's also called hiding in the crowd. Conditional entropy says more about the whole padding. We think in general that k-anonymity is a much better measure of privacy. So here are some plots showing a lot of instances of all these on the different padding methods. On the left is the full plot, and to the right is a zoom in for low bandwidth, which we think is most important. Our new padding methods is TABLK, the blue triangles, and the other colors are the previously known padding methods. And in this plot, you want to be high, providing good privacy, and also to the left, as little bandwidth increase as possible. So up and to the left is good, and as can easily be seen, our new suggested padding method provide superior performance in these cost metrics to the previously known. Here's the same plots for k-anonymity. To the left, the whole plot, to the right, zoom in. And here the dominance is even higher. TA bulk gives better anonymity for the same bandwidth or lower bandwidth for the same privacy. One interesting fact is that, as you can see on 4 on the y-axis, tail-aware blocking here can give 10 to the power of 4, so 10,000 anonymity basically free without any average increase in the username. We also done some other measurements to objectively show that tail-aware blocking is superior. So conclusion, we have presented this vulnerability to GSMA responsibly, and they have acknowledged that this vulnerability is real and that it should be fixed. We strongly recommend GSMA and 3GPP to standardize this, and we have gotten in. It's likely that this will actually happen quite soon. IETF is currently standardizing a hybrid encryption system similar to SUCI, and we have reached out to them and recommended them to do padding, and they have added a recommendation on this. For typical distributions, tail-aware block length padding outperforms the earlier known padding schemes, can significantly improve k-anonymity without any significant increase in bandwidth cost. Future research should consider Unicode name distributions. Name distributions we have analyzed are all ASCII based. So, for example, the Chinese or Swedish names have been first transliterated to ASCII. Another thing for future research is to study how much additional information like rail location time an attacker have access to and how useful that information is to track and identify users. That was all. Thank you. Questions?